Multi-user projects in Tricentis Tosca allow multiple users to connect their individual workspaces to a common shared repository. The management of these users can be done by administrative users. There are two options for managing this depending on whether you are working with one multi-user project or many. Tosca User Management is for single projects and done within Tosca Commander itself, whereas Tricentis User Administration is for managing users across multiple projects and is done via the Tosca Server web application. For this video, we will only cover user management in Tosca for a single multi-user project. While creating a multi-user project in Workspace, you create a repository that multiple users can connect to. The default user is the admin user. This admin can create and manage users and their access rights within the project. These users can log in individually to connect to the common repository. To manage users, go to the project root, Home, Project, and click on the User Management tab. Remember, to make modifications, the project root must be checked out, and for changes to apply, you will need to check in all when you finish. You can see by default there are two user groups which will always be there. First, admins, which contains the users with administrative rights to the Tosca project and can access and edit this user management tab. And second, all users, which will contain a list of all users within the entire Tosca project regardless of their grouping or access rights. Users can be added, grouped, and granted access to different objects and actions. Let's look at how to do this. Here I will add another user. You can also then add a description to the user. Any description can be entered here, so you could use this to identify your users as you'd like. For example, according to their role within the team or the type of tester. Then we will add a user group. Users can be added directly to the group, and then they will appear in the All Users group as well. Or they can be added to all users and dragged and dropped into the respective groups. They can be included in multiple groups. For example, you might have a tester working on two application projects within a single repository and should have access to both parts of the repository. You can set a user's password by right-clicking on the user and selecting Set Password. Once a password is set, the user can use this password to log into the project. Users can reset their own passwords by checking out the project root and selecting Change My Password from the context menu. Admins in the default admin group can also reset a user's password if necessary. Users and passwords can also be configured with LDAP, but this will not be covered in this video. Users can't be deleted, but they can be disabled or removed from user groups. You can disable a user by deselecting Enabled in the Enabled column. You can also limit whether a user can set results in the execution section by ticking or unticking the Set Result Allowed box. In Tosca, you can manage the following access rights: visibility of folders and objects, write permissions for folders and objects, write permissions for user groups, and access rights for specific operations. To give groups access to particular folders or objects, you will go to the Properties tab of that object or folder and select Owning Group from the drop-down box. The Owning Group has write permissions for folders and objects. By default, All Users is selected. If I set the owning rights of a folder to a particular group, then only the users in that group will be able to edit the folder or any objects within that folder. To give groups access to view particular folders or objects, the same method can be used to assign the viewing group. The rights of the parent objects are adopted by all sub-objects or elements, but can be overridden on lower levels. Apart from the user groups, which can be organized in whichever way properly reflects your workflow or project organization, The administrator can also define user levels, expert, advanced, or basic. This only limits whether a person can select types of objects in simple search and replace modules. Expert users have access to all functions and operations. Advanced users have limited access to selecting functions in the simple search. And basic users are restricted from replacing modules by other modules or selecting certain object types in simple search. Remember, any changes made to user management must be checked in using Check-in All for them to become effective. Thank you for watching this video.